Hello learners, I'm Zinnah. I welcome you to a new topic. Today's topic is reactivity series of metals. And metals react with many substances, but in all the cases, the metals just do one thing, which is to lose electrons. And reactivity means the tendency of losing electrons. Based on the tendency of losing electrons, we get a series of metals which we call reactivity series. In this series, you will get the most reactive metal comes first, and gradually reactivity decreases, and the least reactive comes last. Metals are the elements which lose electrons, but the losing tendency is not same. The losing tendency depends on mainly two things. One is the size. If size is bigger, then they have greater tendency of losing electrons. Another thing also responsible for tendency of losing electrons, which is the number of electrons. If number of electrons less, then they have greater tendency of losing electrons. I'm giving examples. Suppose group 1. Group 1, all the elements of group 1 have just 1 electrons, so there's less electrons. So they're fastest to lose electrons, which means they're most reactive. And after that, normally we get group 2 elements. They have 2 electrons and they are less reactive than group 1. And after that, you will get group 3 elements. And we also get some transition elements after that. Now, let's start with the most reactive group, group 1. Are all the metals of group 1 same reactive? No, certainly not. Why so? Because their size different. If you go down the group of group 1 metals, then you will get size increases, because they get, and every step you get a more shell. So down the group, reactivity increases. So firstly, you got the group 1 metals are most reactive. Now you get down the group, reactivity increases, which means the last metal, which is francium, here is most reactive, and the first metal, which is lithium, is least reactive. In this series today, we are not going to include all the metals because there are so many metals. 80% elements of the periodic table are metals. We just going to have a short list of 12-13 elements together. And so let's consider only 3 elements from group 1, which are the first 3 metals. The first one in lithium, then comes sodium, then potassium. Just 3. Which one is the most reactive here? Is certainly the last one, which is potassium. So in the reactivity series, we'll start with potassium. Then we'll put sodium as less reactive. And then we'll put lithium to be least reactive of these 3 elements. Now we're going to pick 2 more elements from group 2, which are again common, magnesium and calcium. In the periodic table, you see magnesium is above calcium. So in the reactivity series, that arrangement will be opposite, which means in the series we'll get first calcium and then magnesium. After the group 1, group 2 and group 3 metals, we put some more metals from the transition elements. They are zinc, iron, hydrogen, copper, silver, and gold, and then last is platinum, which is least reactive. Based on how fast they react with many other substances, we can divide the metals into 3 groups. The first group is the most reactive group, and second group is the moderate reactive group, and the last group is the least reactive group. And the first reactive group are extremely reactive. These are mostly group 1 metals, including some group 2, and they are difficult to preserve because if you put them in open air, they react with air quickly and they are corroded away. And if you place them in water, they react with water vigorously. Sometimes they catch fire. So they are usually placed in oil because oil is unreactive substance, a very less reactive substance. So they do not react with oil, so they are preserved in oil. And look at the moderate reactive metals, they can be preserved, but they still react slowly in air. At normal temperature, they do not react with water, but if they are heated, then they may burn in air and they react slowly with the steam. If they are placed in acid, they react smoothly, giving hydrogen gas and producing salt. So if you go for carrying out an experiment with metals, then the moderate reactive metals are good. Suppose you're going to make hydrogen gas, then you pick metal from the moderate reactive. Suppose this zinc or magnesium or iron, your best choice because they react smoothly with dilute acid and giving hydrogen gas. And then least reactive group is least reactive, so they are not supposed to react with air or water, or even they do not react with acid at room temperature. But when they're heated at high temperature, they may react slowly, and their reactions are very slow. And so some of the metals of least reactive group, we get them on Earth as they are unreactive, and they can be preserved for a long period of time. With some experiments, we can determine the reactivity series. We can prove the reactivity series is correct. If this is an experiment with the moderate reactive metals, then you pick two of the metals, suppose zinc and iron. Zinc is more reactive than iron. Then get equal size of two lumps of the metals and drop them in dilute hydrochloric acid, and you will get that zinc takes less time to dissolve, and zinc will also give greater effervescence. So this proves that zinc is more reactive than iron. This is how you can compare any two metals, which one is more reactive. Suppose magnesium and iron, and magnesium and iron here. And if you want to have the experiment with the most reactive group, then you should not place them in acid, because the reaction is so vigorous that may have an explosion. So this is risky. Instead of acid, you can take water. Suppose you know that lithium is more reactive than calcium. So get equal piece of the metals, lithium small piece and calcium small piece. They should be equal in size, and then now drop them in water in 2 beaker. You will get them that lithium takes less time to dissolve. Reaction also less time before calcium that dissolves away, which means that we got another way to determine reactivity series, which is the displacement reaction, because a more reactive metal displaces a less reactive metal from their compound. Suppose we're going to prove that zinc is more reactive than copper. So this time you get a small piece of zinc metal and add to the copper sulfate solution of a copper compound. So copper sulfate solution is a blue solution, and then when zinc is added to copper sulfate solution, as zinc is more reactive than copper, so you will get the zinc displaces copper. So in this reaction you will see clearly that blue solution fades away and gradually turns into colorless solution. In this reaction, another substance formed is copper metal, as copper has been displaced, and copper is a pink brown solid. When the reaction happens, you will get two changes. One is the color change, which is blue to colorless, and you also get there a pink brown solid, which is copper, is formed in this reaction. So this reaction proves that zinc is more reactive than copper. You can also have this experiment between copper and iron. Iron is more reactive than copper. In this case, add a small piece of iron filing here in the solution of copper sulfate. Then you will get that iron will displace copper, forming iron sulfate solution. Here we'll get the color change. Iron sulfate is green solution, so blue solution will turn into green solution. And you will also get here pink brown solid as copper metals form. But here the condition for this displacement reaction is the color change. Not all the compounds are colorful. So if you want to carry out experiment with all the metals, you may not observe the color change because not all of them are colorful. So in that case, you need to carry out the experiments only when you get colorful substance involved. But the other way you can also use, which is the measuring temperature. Suppose a metal displaces another metal, but the compounds are colorless, then you can measure temperature. As the reaction are exothermic, so when a metal displaces another metal, and before the reaction and after the reaction, if you measure the temperature, you will get the temperature rises, which means the reaction is taking place, which means the metal added to the other metal compound is more reactive. Here you get hydrogen has been placed in the reactivity series, though hydrogen is not a metal, but for certain reasons this is placed there. For certain reason this has been given there. And metals usually react with acid producing hydrogen gas, but this is not true for all the metals. And this is how position of hydrogen is important here. The metals you get above hydrogen in the reactivity series, all of them can react acid because they are more reactive than hydrogen, and so they can displace hydrogen in their reactions. Some more metals here, suppose copper, silver, gold, they do not react with acid because their position is below hydrogen in the reactivity series, which means being less reactive, they cannot displace from the acid. So you do not expect the reaction to happen. So this is the significance of placing hydrogen in the reactivity series.